Imagine a foreign exchange student comes to Britain to take up a course or experience the culture, and what he experiences instead are a group of yobs shouting off their mouths, thinking they're big in front of their friends. And because the foreign exchange student is outnumbered and surrounded, when he stands his ground and tells the group of yobs about themselves, he is hit in the head with a bag of bricks, and then kicked repeatedly. Again, all because of a small confrontation. Actually, it wasn't even a confrontation, it was more like a small disagreement. Does that warrant being left brain damaged? German exchange student Daniel Ezzedine, who was only 17 years old at the time of the attack, was viciously assaulted on Rolls Lane near White Ferris Shopping Centre in Canterbury. He was attacked by up to 10 people, Kent police have said, and again, all because of a verbal exchange. The two main culprits of the violent assault was Jack Barron and Luke Fogarolli. Following an investigation by Kent and Essex Serious Crime Directorate, 10 people were charged in connection with the attack. Some members of the group was looking for trouble. The court heard how minutes prior to the attack, idiot Jack Barron had collected bricks into a bag, which he then swung it at the exchange student's head during the assault, which obviously caused him to fall to the ground. It was at this point that the second idiot, Luke Fogarolli, stood over the teenage victim and began kicking him in his head repeatedly. They left him on the ground fighting for his life as they ran away like cowards. Witnesses, which haven't been established as passerbyers or people whom were part of the group, says that they heard and saw Luke and Jack laughing and boasting about the assault. Again, for all they know, these two teenagers, Luke and Jack, could have killed Daniel, who is a visitor here, who has no family in the UK, and they laughed about it. They literally laughed about it because they didn't care, like it was something to be proud of. Daniel Ezzedine, again, was only 17 years old at the time of the attack. Due to the seriousness of the attack, Daniel was left with serious head injuries, leaving him with long-term brain damage which will require long-term ongoing treatment. Jack Barron was found guilty of grievous bodily harm with intent after a trial at Canterbury Crown Court. That should have been attempted murder, at the least. Jack Barron was also found guilty of violent disorder. As for Luke Fogarolli, he had pleaded guilty at an earlier hearing to violent disorder. For Jack's crime, he was sentenced to 6 years in a Young Offenders Institute, and again as for Luke, he was charged with a separate incident of possessing drugs with intent to supply and possession of an offensive weapon. His total sentence was 6.5 years. Speaking after the sentence, Detective Inspector Ross Gurdon says, "There can be no doubt of the part that was played by these two offenders in an assault which led to a teenager being left with life-changing injuries. They may have ran from the scene of the crime and the attack on that fateful day, but ultimately they will never be able to escape the consequences of their actions, and I am pleased the court recognised the severity of their crimes. The remaining 8 suspects are due to appear in court at a later date, and I pray to God that each and every single person gets sentenced. Again, they left a visitor of this country with life-changing brain injuries." Thankfully, Daniel's mother was able to fly out to the UK on an emergency visa 3 days after the attack. But that's 3 whole days. 3 days of waiting, 3 days of Daniel being left alone. That's 72 hours Daniel was left in a hospital bed in a foreign country with nobody by his bedside. Fingers crossed he makes a full recovery. Safe.